I do take that God hates divorce verse very seriously as well. So someone should actually take it seriously by the point they are going down on their knee. Unfortunately, mimi ndio nilienda down on my knee.
Wait, ngoja. Turudishe ati wewe uliproposiana.
Okay, siku proposiana, but I bought my own engagement ring.
Sips waters. You bought your own, ukampatia?
Yes.
Nivalishe hii. June, we are not judging by the way. By the way, let me tell you, we've all done crazy things. We have all done crazy things for love.
My need for love was very big. Because your therapist goes like, June, you didn't see this red flag? I'm like, me, I didn't see it. And this one, me, I didn't see it. And this one, because what did I want? I wanted love. And that is why I would give my money, give. Because nataka love at the end of the day. And nitatafuta do, fanya kenye tu utafanya, mimi nitatafuta do nitakupatia.
Bora unipende.
Bora tu nipende. Catered for everything. Right now that I think of it, it was a desperate move. Because again, nimeona huku nje ni the ghetto. Number 2, I want my daughter to have a complete family. I'm thinking that if she has the father around and me around, it's a complete family. So, and I kind of have the money, I have some savings. Why can't we do this? Having a wedding is not a solution for the issues that you have in life. In marriages specifically, it is not.
June, say that again. Please say that again.
Yes, having a wedding is not a solution for the issues you have in your marriage or even your chemistry relationship. The wedding does not resolve those issues. It does.
Hello and a warm welcome to the show. My name is Lynn Ngugi. Now, I know many people say true love is a gift, but it's also important to understand that lovers can take us to hell and back. My guest today maintains she is not a saint in this story. So why did she finance her own wedding, pay her own rorashio, put up a business for a man mwenye alirudi akamfanyia character development proper? I'm gonna let her introduce herself soon, but before I do, allow me to say thank you to Westwood Hotel for giving us this beautiful space to film. And you guys, you can check them out for an amazing outside space where you can hold your events, restaurants, conference rooms, and even swimming pool. And now, without further ado, please allow me to let my guest today introduce herself. Hello.
Hello.
Mami sasa.
Poa sana.
Mbona unacheka?
I'm excited to be here.
Okay,
Yes,
introduce yourself.
I am June Reeves, a mother of one, 1 year old, she's 7 years old. Yeah, and I love God, I'm a child of God, I'm a born again Christian. And yeah, I'm here to talk about my story of character development.
Of proper character development.
Yes.
You know, June, I always say these stories are not the easiest to have.
Yeah.
So when I see people coming out and speaking out, it really makes me happy because I say even if this story changes one person's life, then our job here is done. Cindy,
Yes.
So first, I know you are currently on, is it divorce counseling or something?
I just completed divorce care classes.
Divorce care classes?
Yes, they were done by Nairobi Chapel.
Okay.
Yes.
And you had been married for how many months?
4 months.
Yeah.
4 months. We did our wedding last year, December, and married for 4 months. Now separated since May.
Okay.
Yet to start the process, the court process.
The court process.
Yes.
I want to get to this part where you are only married for 4 months and what makes someone walk out. But maybe before we do, you can take us through your story so that we get to understand how did you get here.
I was born by a single mother.
Okay.
At least when I came to, I knew my mom was a single mom. We used to live in Kabete. And yeah, so I was the only child at that point. I was born in 88, so I'm still a young person.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so after Kabete, I remember us moving to Kenyatta. My mom got married to a foreigner. He was from Liberia. He was called Dr. Reeves. She got married to him and we moved to Kenyatta and started living in the flats. Life was good. I can say life was good. That guy really loved my mom. He also really loved me. I was a princess to him, like I was everything to him basically. But unfortunately, one day we were just playing in the house. At that point, my mom was in Japan. She had gone to further studies. They met in hospital. He was a surgeon. My mom was a nurse.
Okay.
So she had gone to further studies in Japan for nursing. And I remember us playing it was a Saturday, I think. We were just playing, and then he went to the neighbors after a short time of playing. And then all of a sudden I had commotion, and then I saw him being carried away. And that's how he passed on.
Sorry.
Yeah, he got a heart attack. Yeah, and that was the last time I saw him. I think that was the last type of love that I ever experienced from a man, because he loved me as if I was his own, and he was actually my stepdad. He even gave me his name, his last name, so that's why
you are Reeves.
That's why I'm June Katei Reeves.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's how I own it now. So can you imagine my mom coming to bury her dead husband? So she was told, she traveled back. She came and buried him. It was an emotional funeral. So we buried him, and then she went back to finish her studies. Then that was in July 1996. So she went back, and she was back in December. Is it December or January? Yeah. So when she came back, we had to start a new life. Like we couldn't live in the flats anymore because the flats were, I think they were under him. But because he had passed on, now we had to move. I remember us living in Buruburu. And my mom tried to sustain the lifestyle that the Dr. Reeves had given us, because alikuwa ametuweka huko juu kabisa.
It was a good life.
Yes, it was a good life, especially for the 90s. It was a good life. That time I used to go to Loreto Convent.
It's a good life. Yes.
Yeah, so it was a good life. I can clearly remember it was a good life. So my mom tried to sustain us. She got a job at Mata Hospital, I remember at that point. And she started other businesses as well. Unfortunately, one of the businesses led her to going to jail for a while. She did a deal with one of her friends, and I do not know how it went because she doesn't speak about it. But she was whisked away one day, and she went to jail at some point.
A deal gone bad.
A deal gone bad with a friend. They were doing the matatu business. Actually, not even actually matatu, but bringing cars to the country from Japan, because she was in Japan. Yeah, so that's the much I know, because she doesn't really like speaking about it. So even before I go there, I got a brother in the process.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a brother in the process. Before now, even she was whisked away. And yeah, I think at that point I stopped feeling lonely, because right now, at that point, me and my brother, we have a gap of 10 years.
Oh.
Yes, a very huge gap, gap of 10 years.
Yeah.
But I got a brother at that point. We don't know the dad. Another topic my mom does not talk about. But again, we give her that because that is her life and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was whisked away, and that's when I think our real problems began. Because at that point, that's when we started being moved. I, for example, started moving from one relative to another.
And how old are you here?
That time I was 11.
Oh.
I was 11, yeah.
So your brother must have been 1?
He was 1, actually.
Oh.
Actually, when she was whisked away, he wasn't yet 1. So, but now ye alipelekwa Ushago to stay with my grandma and my other aunts in Ushago. Yeah, so me now, because I was in school, first of all, I had to change schools. My mom really tried to keep me in Loreto, but now after she was taken to jail and all that, my aunts couldn't afford it. So I used to jump from, I think every time I was in a different school because of school fees. I remember even there are some terms I didn't even finish school or even sit for exams because there was no money. I would stay at home while the other children go to school. Yeah, but I thank God my mom aliniacha na some brains, so at least nilikuwa naruka at the next class. Nikifanya for a next school, I do the interview, I pass.
Yes.
Hata kama sijafanya exam ya the last class. So I moved from one relative to the, and that is so destabilizing. That is so destabilizing. She was in and out of jail, ile like unaingia unatoka, unaingia unatoka. So she was not constantly at home. So the love there was not, it was not there. As for me and my brother would say that it was not there.
And how long was she in jail?
2 to 3 years, because I remember the time that now we actually settled down and she stopped now being taken to Langata was yeah, actually after 3 years, and we had moved to Mombasa. and she wanted to start a new beginning, like hii maneno ya Nairobi ilikuwa imemwonyesha maneno mingi, so acha aende Mombasa. And I remember that time, yeah, we moved to Mombasa, and she got a job at Pandia. Life was good for a while, and unfortunately right now that I'm realizing, she was going through a lot of pain from losing her husband, pain from all
losing
this,
her career,
a
deal gone bad,
exactly,
seeing her kids suffer.
as in there's a lot that had gone on at once. Yeah, so she was going through a lot. In the beginning, when we moved to Mombasa, life was okay. We tried coping and all that, but unfortunately, and sorry mom, you will see this video, alcohol became more. It was a way for her to cope. And deal with the pain. Yeah, so the alcohol, it was just too much, because again, mom nisamehe, I'd remember us even going to clubs with her. yes, and she would drink, although us will drink our soda, but we'll go to clubs with her. So it was her way of coping, her way, I think, of running away from the pain. And I think our parents didn't have, like right now, us me can embrace therapy.
Good.
Our parents did not actually embrace that.
Exactly.
Yeah? Like me going to a therapist right now, it's actually a normal thing.
Exactly.
But to them,
yeah. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, our parents went through so much.
Yeah.
They went through so much trying to bring us up, and they had no one to like go and debrief to, you know?
Yeah, so if she would have gone through therapy, I think maybe things would have been different. But unfortunately, yeah, she didn't. So in the process, she lost her job again. We moved houses. Tuseme tu, it was, my childhood was just kind of crappy, for lack of a better word. And then at some point, she got a stroke. Because now the alcohol actually really affected her, and she had blood pressure issues. So she got a stroke. That was in 2010. Yeah, and right now she's at home, Makueni, Ushago, with my grandma and other family members. She can't speak. She's paralyzed on the right side.
Oh, June.
And yeah, we take care of her as a family, myself as well. I think that's when I also became now a mom to my brother, because if you can see a 10-year gap, that means he was still a baby. So at I usually say at some point he'll have to go through therapy, because he has not experienced a mother's love like his whole life. Hata yeye ameshinda akitolewa hapa na hapa na hapa na hapa. Yeah, so when did I meet my ex-husband? I think no, ex-husband inaingia hapo. In 2009, that was still, my mom was still okay at that point. We met in campus. I was in KU. He was also in KU. Yeah, so we met through a friend of his. We were going to buy some posters. Hiyo time nilikuwa napendanga Lil Wayne. So a friend of mine.
You are young money, cash
I
money.
know. those silly songs of Lollipop. I'm like,
Pana,
right now.
Let's give Lil Wayne his flowers, bana. He made our miaka yetu.
Yeah, he really did.
Lyrics. Yeah, sorry, go on.
So me and my friend we had gone to look for the posters as twende tukazieke kwa room yetu Nyayo. Wow. So yeah, so that's how we met, and we started living together very soon. Imagine, after 8 months, I remember. I was very young. I was 20, he was 21. Munajua nini sasa, azim nanda mnaanza kuishi pamoja, azim, sincerely speaking. And right now when I look at it, I actually would advise young girls, know yourself before you get into a relationship. Know yourself before committing to be a husband or a wife. Even to the young men, like, you need to know who you are. Who am I as June? Who you are as Lynn? Yes. Before now you become a Mrs. somebody or a Mr. somebody to someone.
Who are you?
Yes, who are you? Because those are one of the questions I was asked in my therapy session this year. June, who are you? And I couldn't answer my therapist. I was like, I don't know. I don't know, because it's like nilitoka high school nikaingia ndoa.
Yeah, and it's very dangerous if they only, and we've all been there before. I know I've been there before. When your definition depends on another person's existence. You cannot define yourself without them in the picture. It's dangerous.
Yeah. And that's how we lose our identity. Like, you don't know yourself completely. Yeah, and if you don't know yourself, you keep on running back to the person who made your identity whole. Maybe it's a toxic situation and all that. Yeah,
I know.
So we met in 2009, started living together immediately. What else? At that point, we used to support ourselves. Our parents stopped supporting us, especially on his side. My side, because my mom still had issues, she wasn't supporting me that much. Then we started doing online writing, the academic writings everyone does in campus. Unajua hata zenye zilianikwa before.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was what was keeping us afloat. Even when my mom got the stroke and now I had to take care of my brother, that was what was actually paying his school fees and all that. And so our relationship was okay at that point. I thought it was okay. We were young, so what do you know about being a husband and wife? And unfortunately, we both come from homes that don't have, right now I'm not seeing it as complete, but as in, there's this notion in the society where a father and a mother and a child is a complete family. But ideally, even as a child and a mother is still complete, a child and a father is still complete. So at that point, I was thinking that because we didn't come from complete families, complete in quotes. Like I came from a single mom, he came from a single mom. Like right now, we can do this together to make it a complete family. Yeah, so we started... where was I?
Living together.
Yeah, living together. I graduated from KU. He didn't graduate.
Why?
So there was a point where, was it the government that said that some of the engineering courses in some of the campuses, that was in 2011, that they're not going to be viable or something like that. So they were told to take a break. And I remember them taking a break. But I think that court case was nullified or something. Yeah, and they were told to go back. Unfortunately, he didn't go back. So he didn't graduate
by choice.
By choice now, because his friends actually went back and all that and they graduated. For him, he didn't go back. And sometimes I think maybe it is the money that he was making on the side that actually blended that whole fact. But at that particular point, that money was enough. But when you compare it with right now, it was actually ni kidogo sana. So he didn't go back to school, but me, I graduated. And I thank God I got a job. Like, I didn't even stay at home for that long. I got a job. I did computer science in campus. So I started kupanda the career ladder. Kidogo tu. And he now started stopping doing the online writing. It became less and less and less. And as me being that I came from a humble background, I came from a tough childhood. I even told you the other day on phone that there was a point we were so broke that my mom was breastfeeding my brother, but we had only had mangoes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, that was how broke we were. I remember even in Mombasa at some point tunakujiwa na auctioneers, tunafungiwa mlango, mnalala nje kwa stairs, maneiba wanawapita. As in, I told myself when I grow up, that will never happen to me. I will do whatever I can, but that will never happen to me, and it will never happen to any child that I have. So, unfortunately, I think my ex-husband knew that can never happen. I can never allow such a thing to happen to me. So even as I went up the ladder, as he stopped working and stopped being very consistent with the online writing, I would cover for everything. You
became now the provider.
I became now the provider.
So you are taking care of your brother, and you are taking care of your boyfriend. Let the game start now.
And also taking care of my mom back home. So at some point I thought, let's have a baby. Unajua ukikuwa na mtoi, responsibility ita kick in. And I got pregnant. So actually my daughter was planned. So my daughter came and I was like, so maybe if the daughter comes in and responsibility comes in, because mkiwa wawili unaona maybe mko tu sawa. And the baby came, but still nothing much changed. So when nothing much changed, I decided let me just start biasharas just to be able to hold our family together and all that. So at some point I took a loan, bought a matatu. Yani mi ni ule go-getter, mi ufanyanga tutu vitu hapa na pale at least tukwenda kakitu kwa mfuko. And that time the insecurities grow bigger, and I've come to learn when a man does not have their own, as in they don't have their own shilling, the insecurities grow big and big and big compared to someone who has their things in line and has their own money and has everything. Yeah, so when the insecurities grew big, at that point there was even cheating involved, and I would agree also on my side, so it was on both sides. For me, I was looking for sasa unapanda hii ladder, and now you're seeing other men out there who are also very hardworking, outgoing, as in like
goal
focused. Yes. And when you come home, you're like, okay,
ni nini huyu?
Yeah, so on both sides at that point, a lot of cheating happened on both sides. And at some point, I remember in 2017, we forgave each other and tried to make it work again. But unfortunately, it didn't work. And then there's emotional violence, and it even escalated to physical violence. So in 2018, we split up. We decided, that was after 9 years of being together. We decided, hii hapana, tuachane tu na hii story. So he left, and me, I stayed in the house with my daughter. I didn't deal with that separation properly. I was in a lot of pain. I felt like I'd wasted 9 years of my life, because he found me when I was 20, leaving me at 29. I felt that, hapana, I've wasted a lot of time. So the pain was so much. I went into drinking. I used to drink a lot. Drinking a lot to the point of I'd get home at 2, sleep, wake up, go to work high. Biata venye nilikuwa na deliver job hata sijui. I don't know. A lot of drinking, a lot of partying, a lot of bad relationships. One relationship even led me to doing drugs. It was just chaos for 2 years, from 2018 to around 2020, to the beginning of 2020. A lot of chaos, just trying to deal with the pain of losing a relationship and all that.
And you can't talk to your mom.
Exactly. And we haven't had a relationship really with my mother, because after all that she had gone through, there was no bond. Even up to now, we really struggle to talk. And the fact that she can't even talk, even right now speak, it's even more hard. So I even have a relationship with my aunt more compared to my mom. As in, I would go to my aunts and tell them all my issues, compared now to my mom. Yeah, so the separation, dealt with it badly. We dated other people and all that. And then in 2020, nikajiambia, huku nje ni the ghetto.
I'm not for the streets. Me, I'm not for the ghetto. I'm not for the ghetto.
I'm not for the ghetto.
Yes.
So I'd rather go to someone mwenye, I know the devil that you know,
than an angel you don't know.
Exactly.
Yes.
Hey, so tukarudiana tena. Right now that I think of it, that was a very big mistake. It was a very big mistake, but maybe that's why tuko hapa right now. Ndio maana tulirudiana, that's why tuko hapa.
Yeah.
God has his own ways. So when we got back together, I'd given my life to Christ, and I decided I don't want to do a come we stay anymore. I don't want to do this relationship the way we were doing it 9 years before. We want to do it in a different way and in God's way. So yeah, so we signed up for marital classes, premarital classes, sorry. And we also decided put a date, and that is how December 19th, 2020 was born, that now we do our wedding on that time. When we got back together, he was not working. So again, the responsibility falls on who? On June. So yeah, catered for everything. Right now that I think of it, it was a desperate move. Because again, nimeona huku nje ni the ghetto. Number 2, I want my daughter to have a complete family. I'm thinking that if she has the father around and me around, it's a complete family. So, and I kind of have the money, I have some savings. Why can't we do this? Yeah, so I did a number of payments. We both come from single mothers, as I said. So there's that thing ya Wakikuyu inaitwaje, ile ya lazima utole the mother
kakitu.
You don't know if it's a ratio or what.
I
don't know, because now he couldn't ratio me until the mother has been ratioed. Yes. So we did that. The same on my mom's side. So actually our ratio was supposed to be this year. We had planned that it was going to be this year, but unfortunately we broke up.
And who is paying for this? It's you. So you give him money to act like it's coming from him.
That is what I was actually taught. And I think, okay, but kufundishwa na dunia. Ile like, kuficha mwanamume, chukua pesa zako umpati. Yes. Asikwe na aibu. And I did that a lot.
And he would gladly take the money.
Yeah. Your expression on your face.
Tunaongea tu June. Ni venye, yani unampea. So, ni venye tu nataka kuget, baby take this and it's yours now. And he will gladly take. He wouldn't be like, no babe, let me get it from my friends. Let me borrow from a couple of colleagues. It's just you.
Now there are no colleagues, there are very few friends, and you can't continue borrowing the whole time, you see. Yeah, so he gladly took it, and yeah, we did both those two ratios, and then even did the wedding. I depleted my savings actually with that wedding, because weddings are costly. Weddings are costly. And definitely we wanted a nice wedding and all that. Yeah, and after the wedding, went for a honeymoon. Wasn't a happy one. We actually fought during the honeymoon. Instead of kukua na raha huko nje mna fight. And then we came back, and when we came back, the emotional violence continued. More of insecurities, I would say. And now we both had anger issues. I would even admit to have anger issues. Sasa mimi nilikuwa naitwa mdomo pistol. Because maneno zenye zinatoka kwa mdomo yangu
ni pistol.
Ni pistol.
Chu.
Yeah, and to him, the same thing.
Yeah.
And so, again, it escalated to emotional and physical violence that my daughter saw. And it really wounded her. Also, my mother saw it, because at some point after the wedding, she stayed with us for a while. So they both saw it, even to a point my mom was like, natakwenda ushago, I don't want to stay with you guys anymore. Like, the toxic, yani alikuwa nasema it's so toxic, she doesn't want to stay there. My aunts would call me and tell me like, amesema nataka kwenda nyumbani.
Oh, it must have been hard for her, you know.
Yeah. And seeing that happen, and you guys have just had a wedding, you're supposed to be happy. Si kunafaa kuwa na honeymoon phase, mkioana.
There's abuse that people never think is abuse, and that's emotional abuse.
Yes.
What were some of the things that he would do to you that really emotionally kind of made you so vulnerable?
He would go to my past. He would go, mainly I would say there was a lot of condemnation. Like, go to my past, oh, you did this to me, 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 you're the bad one, you did this to me. And I'm like, okay, I thought we went past that. We forgive and forget.
Yes.
Yeah? The same way that Jesus forgives us, it's the same way we need to forgive others. You might not forget it, but as in, you need to forgive, yeah, and not continue reminding. So there was a lot of condemnation to the fact that, and no communication. Oh my God, there was no communication. Communication was like zero.
Ili anakunyamazia siku mzima.
Yeah, and when we plan, maybe we need to do something, like, we were even advised you need to go for dates and all that. As in, like, it wasn't even a money issue. It was more of like, there's no communication at all. Like, we cannot even set that time and stick to it. Yeah. So
at work, are you talking to your friends, or you are putting up a face, you know?
I am very good at putting up a face. To the point of when I wrote this post on Saturday, guys were shocked. Like, guys were calling me and like, but June, you've always been smiling. June, you've always been, we meet each other, you're smiling, you're laughing and all that. I'm like, I know how to put up a face. And that's even what we did when we went to church, when we went anywhere. We'd look like the happiest couple ever. We laugh, nini, wacha tufike kwa nyumba. Total different story. Clearly it was not working. We really tried with counseling. We really tried going back to the church and the people who married us. Our pastor was very instrumental in trying to get us back to, trying to make the marriage work
for you guys.
Yeah, because we would meet after church with him, and he will tell us, you need to go and do this, you need to go and do this in order to make this work. But unfortunately, when we get home, it either turns, there's a night it turned into a very nasty fight, Tulikuwa tunamsha paka ma neighbors and all that. Thank God I moved. So right now I do not feel that
Shame?
Yeah, that shame. Yeah, exactly, that's the right word. Yeah, so the work wasn't there. The people out around us really tried, really tried. They gave us all the tools that we needed, but now applying them was another thing.
And how is your daughter coping at this point?
So when all this now came crumbling down in May this year, I remember receiving a call from one of the, I think it's one of the counselors in the school, and she told me, you need to come to school, your daughter is not fine. She's talking about some things of violence and she's just not fine. Can you come to school? So I went to the school and I was told she's been talking about the violence. It's like she's afraid of mommy. She's like, she wants to protect mommy, but she doesn't know how to protect her. So she was put under therapy. The school has a counselor. So she was put under therapy, and also at my workplace, they offer therapy as well.
You?
Yes, God. So they put for her as well. So I enrolled also. So she was going for therapy twice, but the school one was more of school-based and how to see how she's coping in school and all that. So this other therapy was looking at even her well-being and all that. Yeah, so we used to go every mornings to Minette and for her therapy sessions. Yeah, for a while, for a few months. And she started becoming better. She stopped asking about the dad and if we would get back together. I remember at some point she was told by the counselor to draw her family. What is her family? And she drew a picture of me and her. So so that picture as in symbolized at least she's coming to the terms that me and her are enough. We don't need, not that we don't need the dad, but as in the way we are still a family.
It's still okay.
It's still okay.
It's still okay.
It's still okay.
Yeah.
So right now she's better. She can see his photos. We can talk about him and she's fine.
And
Before we
she's
would
fine.
talk about him and she would cry. She would literally cry. And when you see your child going through pain, unajua pain yako wewe mwenyewe unaweza jisort. Unaweza fikiria way of kujisort. Mtoi wako, it is hard. It is... You don't know how to help them, and especially if it is emotional, because now physical maybe utampaka kitu or something you get, but now emotional, how do you deal with that?
She's wounded.
That really broke me down. So right now she's better. She's way better.
Yeah.
She's okay.
She's okay?
Yeah, she's okay. We
God.
stopped the therapy sessions in Minette and even at school. So she's good.
She's good. Huh?
Yeah, she's better.
Yeah. I want to go back to that moment where you are still in this marriage and things are not working out for you. So at what point do you decide? Me, I know we had a beautiful wedding. I know now our friends, they know me, I'm Mrs. Nani and Nani, but it's time for me to walk out. Hatujamaliza mwaka, but it's time for me to walk out.
I had decided I wouldn't walk out. First of all, because the first few months of the year, first of all, because you've done it the church way, you've done it under God's way and all that. I'm born again. I love God and all that. So
and
I will
God
try.
hates divorce.
And God, that line.
God hates divorce. They will tell you that, right? I'm pretty
Very
sure
true.
you heard it a couple of times. June, God hates divorce.
Yes, I had it so many times. But one thing that I really didn't want, I kept on praying. I kept on praying to the point of I thought, I actually realized I'm idolizing this marriage. Unaona ile asubuhi, God heal my marriage. In the lunchtime, God heal my as in jioni. Yani hiyo tu ndio, hata hakuna kitu kingine naombea, ni hiyo ni hiyo. And yeah, so I continued praying and praying and praying, trying to work it out, having these counselors, having our leaders in church trying to help us. But I think ilifika mwisho when I found out there was another lady in the picture. And yeah, it was an ex, and I think that was my turning point. Like, I can't be doing all this. I can't be the one providing, loving you, going out there for counseling. I have changed. You can clearly see I have changed. I have done everything in my might to make our relationship work.
I'm financing your lifestyle.
Yes, and now there is another lady in the picture. How do you do that to me? How do you do that to me? And at the same time, remember, the emotional abuse was about a lot of condemnation of what I had done in the past. So that really hit me to the core. And yeah, that was my turning point. Because I keep on saying, if I didn't find out about that other lady, I would still be there.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Did that part of Mumevalishana Pete, you said I do, did it make you think that he will never step out of marriage? Yes.
No, actually, he has always been a saint to everyone. I've always been the bad one. And I wouldn't lie, me, nimekuwa rogue, but he knew how to hide whatever he was doing very well compared to me. So I don't think I ever thought of cheating part. Even when we got married, we were happy. We were, at least I thought so. And I thought that doing it this way would be different. And right now I'm realizing having a wedding is not a solution for the issues that you have in life. In marriages specifically, it is not.
June, say that again. Please say that again.
Yes, having a wedding is not a solution for the issues you have in your marriage or even your chemistry relationship. The wedding does not resolve those issues. It does not. And that is what I've come to learn, that we didn't resolve our issues. And we rushed it, especially me. I would now talk of me. I really rushed it to the point of I wanted us to be fine, to be okay, but we didn't look at what was ailing our relationship to the point that even we separated the first time. Yeah, so I didn't think of it completely, and that was my turning point. That was my turning point. And yeah, I told him to leave, and he left. I really broke during that time. It was May this year. Immediately he left, I think I called so many of my friends. I live in Thika. So my friends would drive all the way and come and see me because I was really breaking. Yes, I told him to leave, but the reality sinks in. Your marriage is done. It is done. As in, like, you don't expect yourself to be there, especially after 4 months of doing a grand wedding. You're like, how come? So I really sank. I really sank. The only thing that was keeping me going was the fact that I need to work, and we work from home. So just wake up in the morning, work. But bado, akili yako iko, so you have so many mental things going on in your head and all that. Na uongezee mtoto wako pia na go through the same thing. So kenye pia una go through, mtoto wako pia na go through the same thing. So I really had so many suicidal thoughts. And this dated back to, as we were speaking to the therapist, even this dated back to when I was a child. When you're unwanted as a child, you'd think that, hii nyumba nimezaliwa sifai kuwa kwa hii nyumba and all that. So now they were amplified right now that I was an adult, and I'm thinking, manze God, nimepitia mashida nikiwa mtoi, hata nikiwa mtu mzima napitia mashida. What is happening? I thought I am your child. Yeah, so I really sank and had suicidal thoughts and started having anxiety attacks, and I couldn't sleep. So they went on for a while. It's my friends who convinced me to go to hospital. If I didn't go to hospital, I don't know what. I used to pray at that point, but even when it all sank, at some point, niliachana na maneno ya God. Nilisema by the God, si nimefanya na wewe. As in, I have this slogan, I say, try again with Jesus. So I was like, God, I even tried this relationship with you, but it still went down the drain. So what's up? As in, what's going on?
Nini tunaambiana sasa?
Exactly. Paka unaambia God, hapana, hii relationship mimi na wewe, wacha ikae kando. So I remember not even praying for a week, as in like, nilikuwa too down. So I went to hospital, and the anxiety attacks continued becoming bigger and bigger. And yes, that's when I was diagnosed, given medication, and I was put on therapy. And I've been in therapy since that was in June up to now. Yeah, so I see, there's a therapist I see. Yeah, and I can say that has helped me get out of the rut that I was in. It has helped me with the suicidal thoughts, helped me live a different life and see that I did the best I could in my relationship. I also heard of divorce classes through a YouTube, someone by Pastor Nick Corrier from Nairobi Chapel.
Oh, I do. Oh, Pastor Nick Corrier.
Yes.
Allow me to say this,
Okay.
that you've mentioned him. Back in my ears, when I was trying these things out and I was still in college, and me and a group of friends got together and we wanted to film something. So I remember one of us was worshiping at Nairobi Chapel, and he said, we can go and talk to, I don't think he was a pastor back then or something, and then he said, we can go and talk to Nick. So we went and got Pastor Nick, and we were like, we would love to shoot at Nairobi Chapel, and he was such a father figure. He actually sat down with us and talked to us for a couple of minutes, and then he said, come and film from Nairobi Chapel when you are ready. I know he wouldn't remember, but because of that act, I've never forgotten Pastor Nick. Such an act. He's a tall one, a bit dark,
bald. Yes.
There we go. So Pastor Nick Corriel, wherever you are watching this from, I'm so sorry, June.
It's okay.
You know, sometimes people do things in your life and you remember them for life. For me, Pastor Nick is one of them. And that's like 10 years ago.
Wow.
Should be 10 years ago.
Wow.
Pole, tuendele. Yes.
Ni sawa.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw that sermon. It was actually forwarded to me by our pastor in church. And they were talking about divorce classes. And I enrolled for the divorce classes.
And this is in church.
Yes.
They are telling you, you can come for divorce classes.
Yes.
I love that, because the perception is, if you've done a wedding and your spouse is not dead, you cannot divorce this person.
Yes.
Because simply, God hates divorce.
God hates divorce.
God hates divorce. And this scares people even in church.
Exactly.
Because when you are going through what you are going through, you do not want to talk it out, because what will the church members say? See, God hates divorce.
God hates divorce.
Exactly.
But he hates divorce, but he loves the divorcee.
There we go.
Yes. He loves the divorcee.
Yes.
Yeah. And somehow divorce is allowed based on this. There's so much sin in this world right now, and that is why we find ourselves going the divorce way. Not like the Western world, but as in even in, and we hide a lot in so much of here God hates divorce. And that is where you find people killing themselves, like. And the number of cases on our TV we are seeing of people dying because of toxicity in marriages, it is just alarming. It is just alarming. And if you just walk out, as in, God bado anakupenda manzi. God bado anakupenda. Yes, we have the divorce part, but bado anakupenda. Good. So I joined divorce classes. That was another turning point for me, because it deals with you and the feelings that come with divorce, that comes with separation, because I'm not yet divorced like legally. But yeah, as in it deals with those feelings of anger, of fear, of loneliness, all that, even dealing with financial and legal issues. You're actually told how it will go in court and how you can deal with maybe children's court, matrimonial property and all that. So it's a whole spectrum of classes that just deal with the divorce process as a whole. Yeah, so those classes really transformed me. And even the photo that I had put online of me being prayed for, we were actually dealing with father and mother wounds. We're actually forgiving our fathers and mothers for what happened. Like, I've come to realize we need to be intentional parents. Like, we cannot just parent too heavy, because now the way we are brought up, those trauma that we get from our childhood come and now manifest in us making bad decisions when you get into relationships and to marriage and all that. Because, for example, let me give you a case of mine. Through our therapy sessions, I realized my need for love was very big. Because your therapist goes like, June, you didn't see this red flag? I'm like, me, I didn't see it. And this one, me, I didn't see it. And this one, because what did I want? I wanted love. And that is why I would give my money, give, because nataka love at the end of the day. And nitatafuta do, fanya kenye tu utafanya, mimi nitatafuta do nitakupatia.
Bora unipende.
Bora tu nipende.
Were you looking for, sorry to ask, but were you looking for the father figure in this man?
Yes, I was. Since my dad passed, there hasn't been a father figure in my life. I can't remember anyone I can say that who stood up after him and saying that now I can show you how a man loves a woman, ama nini kabisa. So I tried, I actually agree right now that I was trying to look for my dad in him. And even I remember at some point I had actually told him that he kind of filled that gap at some point. But again, I needed to deal with it by myself instead of having him fill that gap.
June, it's the owning up for me. God, it's the owning up for me. It's you being able to look yourself in the mirror right now and say, this was my fault. this is where I went wrong as an
Yeah.
individual.
Yeah.
It's you are not even doing the blame game here.
No.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's no, for me, like that's beautiful.
Really?
Because true healing starts when we start to own up.
Yeah.
What was my contribution in this? Where would I, like, what would I have done right in this? So even owning up is part of the healing process. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so the divorce classes, I graduated last Saturday.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. We dealt with so many things, and I think that has also helped my healing. I am a better individual now. I know where I went wrong, as you said. I know what I shouldn't have allowed, but I allowed it.
Yeah.
I know also him, he has his issues. We are both, in this world, hakuna mtu perfect. Hakuna mtu perfect. We all had our issues, but we dealt with them in not a very nice way. And right now, I know if I were to look for another relationship, I know what I want. Like, I have clarity right now. And I know that God still loves me. I'm his child. At the end of the day, I'm his child. Even if I'm going through this separation and eventually I'm going to file for divorce, I'm still his child and he loves me. And one person even said maybe he used this process in order to strengthen me and maybe even inspire other women out there to let them know that there is life after divorce, there is life after separation. Don't die. Aki, please don't die. Because sometimes it's not even death from physical beating, it's even death mentally. Because some months ago, there was a lady who killed herself and killed her child. Where do you get to the point of now you're killing yourself? You kill your child first, because definitely lazima aliwa mtoto kwanza ndio ajiwe. How do you get to that point? Mtoto umembeba 9 months, umemlea amefika kwenye amefika, then you kill them. Definitely her mental state wasn't fine. And we need to deal with that as a society, that you don't have to stay in toxic relationships because you have to be Mrs. So-and-so. And sana sana wanawake, as in sisi tukijita Mrs. So-and-so ndo tunasikianga, hey, tumefika. But no, you can just be June Katei Reeves and you're fine and you're enough the way you are.
You are enough.
Yes, you are enough.
You are enough.
You are enough the way you are.
Yeah.
So we really need to deal with that. And I would like to say that I'm not like that person of like, that if something is not working, go straight and start divorcing or separating. No, work for your marriage. Work. There's a friend who tells me that, and even I was still in the marriage, he would tell me that, June, work for that marriage to the point of God akashuka kaka hapo kwenye Lynn umeka ako zile za June ulifanya hii na ukafanya hii na unajua ni God, si ati ni as in anasema umefanya hii na umefanya hii and uko sure by then umefanya hii. So you work to your marriage to that point, but ikai imefika mwisho,
wachana nayo.
Exactly.
Wachana nayo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you'll be fine.
What's your biggest take home in all this?
Don't get married early.
Yes.
For the young men and women, please, jijue, jitambue, jijue we ni nani before you start becoming someone else. Divorce is not the end of life. Separation is not the end. It's not the end of life. You can start a new life. I am so at peace. I have seen God come in various ways that he did not do it when I was married. And they say, even the Bible says that God is close to the brokenhearted. So he's there and he has blessed me so much that sometimes me ushanga, like, okay, did I have to leave that situation in order for you to show up in the way you're showing up? Yeah. And that's how sometimes we block our blessings, by the way, because we are staying in situations that you're not supposed to be in.
Yes. Because in your head, you've already visualized what's a perfect life for me.
Exactly.
What's a perfect life for me, and maybe that's not what God wants for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's life after divorce. And another take home, we need to be intentional parents. For us who have kids, I keep on saying whatever trauma and whatever issues I have, zinaisha na mimi. I don't want my daughter akuwe na hizo issues. Like the point when she's in her 20s or 30s and she's getting someone, now she's anatolea huo mse issues zake. Like the same way I was looking for a father figure in my ex-husband, she shouldn't be doing the same. She shouldn't be doing the same.
Yeah.
So there are things I need to put in place in order for her not to feel that gap and to know how to maneuver life when she becomes an adult. Like, I need to look for a father figure for her, for example. If my ex-husband is not around and all that, you see. So as in, I need to be very intentional. Hey, na watu waeke tu God mbele. God heals. God heals. He's
In your marriage,
there.
was God still there? When you got married, was God still there?
He was. He was. He was, just that he was speaking and I was not listening. He was speaking even before the wedding. He was speaking and I was not listening. I wanted my way. I wanted out. Mimi nilikuwa nataka harusi, sitakudanganya Lynn. Mimi nilikuwa nataka harusi, nivae nguo yangu ya white, I walk down the aisle. Nikwe tu sawa. It's a girl's dream. Okay, most girls. I don't know about girls of nowadays when kuna character development mob. But yeah, it was my dream to be able to walk down the aisle to the love of my life and spend the rest of my life with.
Say I do.
Yeah, but now I know better.
And when you know better, you do better. Right? I think my Angelo's family will one day sue us for how I use that. I know how I use it. You know, she's when you know better, you do better. You know. Why was it so important for you to share your story?
Because there are so many people out here hurting. So many people. I shared my story. Up to now, my inbox is full.
Yeah, because I was one of the people following in the comment section, and I'm like, how brave.
I have not been on social media for the last 3 days, imagine. Because nashindwa, as in like, naingia hivi napata messages, WhatsApp. I'm like, okay. I do not know where to start, but God will give me the grace.
And there's a reason.
There's
a reason why this post came from
Yes. And through that same post, it's how you got to know about me.
And now you are here inspiring so many people, including men. Yes. How would you want a man to treat you now?
Hey, kama baby girl.
Baby, hatutaki stress.
Jaber.
Na hatutaki stress. Si ndio? Na hatutaki stress. Kabisa. Baby girl. What would be an ideal man for you?
An ideal man right now, a man who knows God, who is led by God, because I know if he knows God and led by God, he will know how to lead me. Yeah, someone who's hardworking, someone who would take the marriage covenant very seriously. Like, they wouldn't take it very lightly. They'd be like, the moment they're telling me, June, can I marry you? It is very serious. It is very serious. Yeah, because I do take that God hates divorce verse very seriously as well. So someone should actually take it seriously by the point they're going down on their knee. Unfortunately, mimi ndio nilienda down on my knee.
Wait, ngoja. Turudishe ati wewe uliproposiana.
Okay, siku proposiana, but I bought my own engagement ring.
Sip water. You bought your own, ukampatia?
Yes.
Nivalishe hii. June, we are not judging, by the way. By the way, let me tell you, we've all done crazy things. We have all done crazy things for love, and because we were in love. And I always say, as long as you did this thing because you were in love, no matter how stupid it looks, you did it because you were. You were in love, and you wanted to feel happy.
I wanted to feel, yeah.
Lakini ulienda ukanunua.
So what happened ni tukienda kununua rings za sasa harusi, pia tukabai sasa ya engagement, alafu nikampatia. Alafu at some point tukiwa in some restaurant, akaenda on one knee na hiyo ring nimempatia. But now what guys saw on social media was the ring only. They did not see
the person who so at the wedding no ulinunua?
Yes.
June. Anyways, we are not, again, we are not judging.
Yes.
And you are so, if there's anything I want you to go home knowing today, you are so brave. Trust you me. The things people have been through, it takes a lot of courage to even come out and say, I know this is my story. I know it's painful. I know it might look stupid, but I want to share it because I want to help another person. I do not see any other form of being brave than that one. So you really are brave. And I think you honestly need to speak to more people, men included, not just women. I think you have it in you to be, because I said, once you go through an experience, it's very easy for you to speak about it rather than someone who has never been there. And you've been there. So even for me, I'm learning something from you. I am genuinely learning something.
That's good.
I'm taking a couple of lessons home from your story, and I know so many of my audience, they would definitely definitely want to learn from you too.
Yeah.
What would be your parting shot to our audience?
Mungu mbele. Just put God
Yeah.
first in everything. Even when it's failing, put God first. When it's working, put God first.
Yeah.
Because he was my anchor. God was my anchor in all this. People disappoint. Hey, huku nje. Hey, people disappoint. Even your own family disappoints you. Yeah, like everyone can disappoint you, but God doesn't.
God doesn't.
God doesn't.
Mweke
So that
mbele.
mweke mbele. Give your life to Him. As in, like, we're going through pain, talk to God.
Yeah.
Because I might call you Lynn, I'm going through something, and I might call you Lynn, you're busy, ukose kushika simu, unaget. But I have access to my maker.
24/7.
24/7.
That's beautiful. Oh, that's nice. 24/7.
24/7. I have access to Him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So God first in everything. And kila kitu itakuwa sawa. And we should just know that the things that happen to us in our lives, they happen for a purpose. We might not know it right now. Like right now, I'm actually realizing why this had to happen. But this is not what I envisioned. Lynn, mimi niko nadhani this year nitakuwa na ball. I thought I would be pregnant this year. I give my daughter a baby. Because ameshindanga akisema, Mom, I want a baby brother, I want a baby sister. So according to my plan was that I would be pregnant this year. But God had other plans.
And here we are.
And here we are.
And it's still beautiful.
And it's still beautiful.
Sindio,
Kabisa.
where can people find you?
My name's June Katei Reeves.
Yes.
Everywhere.
On social media platforms?
On social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, everywhere. My names are just June Katei Reeves.
Okay.
Yeah, as in it's uniform everywhere, so that everyone can just find me.
Yeah. Any email address or contact number?
I would share email contact number. Because sababu contact number.
To share email.
Yeah, it's reeves.katei@gmail.com. Yeah, Reeves, my REEVES.katei@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yes.
June,
yes.
thank you so much.
Thank
I
you
think I told
too.
you earlier, my younger sister is called June.
Yes,
and I just have a thing for June.
Yes.
They are beautiful people, free spirits. So thank you so much for even taking time and coming and sharing your story. Go home knowing you are brave, you are enough.
Thank
you said it. See, we are enough.
Yes,
we are enough.
We are
Cindy,
enough,
yeah.
yes.
And you guys, if you are wherever you are watching this from, I really want to hear your views on this story, and also what message do you have for June, and what's your take home from this conversation. Thank you so much to my team for always making these episodes happen. I would never do this without your love and support. And also, as June has said, if you want to reach out to her, her social media handles are on the screen, and her email address is also right here on the screen. Now, if you want to share your story with me, please send a well-detailed brief of it. My email is right here, and who knows, we could be telling your story next on the Lynn Ngugi Show. Guys, I will never stop saying how grateful I am. You've been so supportive, and I see we are past 200k subscribers, and this journey gets beautiful day in, day out. I want you to know you are really appreciated, and I genuinely love the community that we are building together. Till next time, my name is Lynn Ngugi. Enjoy your day.